I was working in a fairly affluent area of London that had lots of private schools. There were three main routes we used to take to get there. One was a combination of the tube and then walking about 5 minutes up a hill. Another was a long tube ride plus a 20-minute walk down a very long driveway. And the third was a bus route that was about 10 minutes longer than the first option but involved no walking at all. The bus stopped right outside the front gate, dropped us off right outside the front door, and took us past all the other major buildings like the staff car park and the sports fields. It was an incredibly convenient service that came every 15 minutes and was mostly on time. However, it also ran late into the night, and there were occasions where it would pass our stop without stopping when it was obvious there was only one person waiting for it, and that person was me. For example, I remember finishing work at around 9:30 p.m. and needing to get home. I waited at the bus stop for the 9:40 bus and it passed me by. No big deal. I wait another 15 minutes for the next bus and that one passes me by too. By now it's getting towards 10:15 and I'm starting to get annoyed. So I decide to call the bus company to see what the problem is. They tell me there are no reported problems with this line and that the buses usually run late because they have to drop students off at their various residences after school. Fair enough, I think, and I go back to waiting. At this point, I start to notice that every single bus going past me has empty seats up front. That's weird, I think. I wonder if they're all just dropping students off. I waited until 10:45 for the next bus, and that one also passed me by. Now I'm starting to get worried. Why is nobody stopping? Is there some kind of emergency that I don't know about? I try calling the bus company again, but this time they don't pick up. Great. I think, let's just make sure there's not a line of buses backed up waiting to drop people off, so I can see why they're running late. I start walking up the road towards the school to look for the bus stop and to see if there are any buses coming. It's now 11:05 and I'm really starting to panic. I haven't felt this scared since I was a kid. As I get closer to the school, I can see that there are no buses anywhere. What the hell is going on? I keep walking until I get to the bus stop where I originally waited and I call the bus company again. Still nothing. Now I'm soaked in sweat. My heart is racing and I'm trying to calm myself down. Surely there's a logical explanation for this. Maybe all the buses broke down and they're all being fixed now. Maybe there's an accident ahead and the buses are stuck in traffic. I don't know. All I do know is that I need to get home and I need to get home now. So I pull out my phone and I book an Uber. As I wait for the Uber to arrive, I continue to call the bus company to see if they've got any updates. The Uber arrives and I jump in the car and tell the driver to take me home. I look at my phone and I see that I have a voicemail from the bus company. I play it and it's them telling me that there are engineering works on the line and buses are unable to travel past the staff car park. Oh, okay. I think that makes sense. As we get closer to the staff car park, I start to see signs that say road closed and I realize that the only way to get past the staff car park is on foot. My driver stops the car and asks me if I want to be dropped here and I tell him yes. I pay him and I get out of the car and start walking. I walk past the staff car park and I begin to walk down the road towards home. It's now 11:30 and I'm exhausted, sweaty and scared. I keep walking until I hear some voices in the distance. I quicken my pace and as I get closer to the voices, I can see that there are two boys walking towards me. I slow down my pace and the boys pass by. We exchange pleasantries and I ask them if they know how to get to the main gate. They tell me to turn around and go back to the staff car park. They tell me that this road is closed to pedestrians and that there's no way through. Okay. I think maybe the boys are messing with me. So I decide to check Google Maps on my phone to see what the route looks like. When I zoom out, I can see that the road is indeed closed and that there is no other way through. Well, this is it. I think. I'm trapped here with nowhere to go. I feel tears stinging my eyes, but I blink them away. I'm not gonna cry. I tell myself, there's no point in crying. I need to get home and I need to get home now. I turn around and I start walking back towards the staff car park. As I walk, I start to panic. What am I gonna do? How am I gonna get home? I walk past the staff car park and I start walking along the road towards the tube station. The boys who were walking towards me earlier now overtake me and start walking towards the tube station. I quicken my pace and try to catch up with them. Hello, I say to them. "Do you know how to get home?" They turn around and look at me, and I can see that they're smirking. They shake their heads and keep walking. I start to feel really scared and I start to run. I can hear the boys laughing behind me. I keep running until I get to the tube station, and then I start to walk. I walk past the ticket machine and onto the platform. I wait for the train, and when it arrives, I get on and sit down. I'm shaking and crying at this point, and I try to compose myself. The train pulls away from the station, and as it does, I can see the two boys standing on the platform waving at me. They're both wearing the same blazer that the boys at the school wear. I bury my face in my hands and I start to cry. The train takes me to the next station, where I transfer to another train that will take me home. As I get off the train at my stop, I can still see the two boys standing on the platform waving at me. I quickly leave the station and start walking home. When I get home, I immediately call the police to report what happened. They tell me that there have been a number of similar incidents reported in the area and that they are currently investigating. I never did find out who those boys were or what they wanted. But ever since that day, I never take the bus home from work, and I always make sure that I have a backup plan in case the bus doesn't come. That was a terrifying story, and I honestly couldn't imagine anything worse than getting stranded at night on a road that's been shut off with no way out. If you like scary stories, stay tuned for more. And if you want to submit your own story, follow the link in the description. Also, be sure to check out my new podcast where I publish extra episodes. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.